Hello, this is Better from Wave. How's it going? Here's a new video on Amazon. We just got earnings last night, almost double expected. As you can see, 83% surprise, and we are currently a bit below, actually 10%. We went past 10% in the pre-market today, July 4th, and today we're gonna look at the technicals, and particularly using the yellow wave theory of what could happen in Amazon and what we could expect next. So obviously a 10% gain doesn't mean that the company value has changed 10% in just a day. That is pretty a strong statement. So as you probably already know, this kind of events, you're just news driven, and just a very good example of how the market is manipulated, because I would challenge you to find a business which value changes 10% in a few hours. So as I said, I'm just going to focus on what I can do best, use my experience as well as my knowledge to guide you through my LWave account, which is a form of technical analysis which I utilize in the market, both in my investing account for long term and my trading account. And we're going to see what we could expect next in terms of Amazon price. So I have two main accounts. If you're not familiar with Yellow Wave, it is a methodology which mainly focuses on the mass behavior, how people tend to behave after events. And a very common thing for electricians is to add different wave counts in order to be prepared if your main count doesn't play out as you expect it to, or also to have a different outlook on what the market could do next. And usually when those wave counts, despite being different, but they forecast the same direction or the same implications, that's usually when you have stronger confluence than usual, and then consequentially you could have some sort of hedge over the market. So enough talking, just dive into the technicals. So here you can see a nice 1 and 2, an extension in wave 3 yet to be completed potentially. And the main question, the main thing about today's count and what I'm going to show you, the difference between the two counts is, in this count particularly, we have this wave 4 which is completed. Simplistic terms, it means that we do have a bottom in place with the $84, $85 bottom, and we are going to see upside without breaking lower. The other count which I'm going to show you is in the opposite, that the move up from this bottom here in January is corrective in nature, and we could see further downside before they're resuming higher. Additionally, we could also explore a different count, and I'm going to show you later on as well, where this wave 4, instead of pairing up with this wave 2, as you can see they are of the same degree, it pairs up with this wave 2. So one step at a time, let's look at the more bullish count first, go on to the alternate, and then a few final considerations. So let's go into the daily, let's dive deeper. So as you can see here, I'm just going to skip to the most important parts, otherwise this video could get quite long. So without just leaving apart what happened before that, which I obviously double checked, in L-wave terms, from the top here at $188, so 8 is a fib number, so it's a very strong number, profit taking number. It's close enough to 0, but it's not a 9. So not only is it a fib number, it's also a profit taking number. So psychological drives quite a few orders. So here what we can see is a move down, which seems corrective in nature. Now, in L-wave terms, so following L-wave rules, in order to have a trend establishing move, it needs to be a 5-wave move, and some rules must be followed. Now, very simply, wave 4 must not overlap with wave 1. Wave 3 must not be the shortest, which doesn't mean it has to be the longest. and wave 2 cannot retrace past the starting point of wave 1. So as you can see here, could you count 5 waves? Yes, you could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And wave 3 is not the shortest because one is. Wave 2 wouldn't have pulled back more than 100% of wave 1. However, wave 4 would overlap with wave 1, therefore wave counting validation. What does it mean? It means that we can see this as a 3-wave move, as I labeled it, A, B, C, and therefore it makes it corrective in nature. What does it mean? It means the trend is still higher. Now, it's a whole different story to understand if, not only now that we established that this is corrective nature, if this will hold as a bottom. Now, that's a much harder thing to know because you kind of never know. We try to bring all the probability to our side, but obviously we can't be sure. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. I would probably be on a beach in the Caribbean. So again, same thing as I said. In order to have a trend establishing move, we need to have 5 waves. Now, I will make a point where you could count this up move as a 3 or a 5-wave move, and that's where also our alternate comes into play, which I'll show you after this. So here you can see you have 1, 2, 3, tiny 4, up in 5. So what I don't particularly like is how this wave 4 will be much shorter than this wave 2. It doesn't break any other wave rules, but it doesn't look great. However, what I've learned through experience is that many times a wave 1, especially after a long downtrend, will not look ideal. Like, you most likely will not see a nice 5-wave move, like what you could call a textbook move. That being said, doesn't break any rule. We can count it as 1. So now let's look at some targets. So Elliott wave really goes along with Fibonacci levels, and you'll be surprised by how powerful those two are. So usually first target for the wave 3 is 1.618 times the length of wave 1, and that is represented $152. Now, interestingly enough, let's say we do get 252, which we're not that far actually. It's what, a 5% move? 8% move, my bad. So let's say we do get 152. As you can see here, we would have resistance on the left. So we could get up there, find resistance, and look at this. We could expect a pullback into wave 4. So that would be a nice way to play out. Move higher, find resistance, a bit of a pullback, and then additional upside. In addition to that, many times we try to find confirmation of upside resumptions once we break the previous wave B, which stands at $146.8. So will it get higher? Yes, we'll find out. However, as I said, wave 3 target, this is called minute degree 3 target, again stands at $152. If we do get that at any point around $152, I would expect a pullback into wave 4 to that additional upside if this count proves to be correct. Now, long story short, let's jump into the alternate. Now, the alternate, as you can see, is telling us, okay, we did have a 3-wave move down here, but that was not the completion of wave 4. That was the completion of a lower degree wave A within wave 4. Now, a wave 4 position can be a different type of Elliott wave corrective pattern. Again, not going to go into it. If you want to, you will find a video on my channel about the corrective pattern in the Elliott wave theory. Just notice that a corrective pattern is always a 3-wave move. It can be a multiple of 3-wave moves, so it can be 3, 3, 3, but still it just, what we like to say, it looks corrective in nature. So again, 3 down into wave A, and at that point we could have 3-wave up into wave B. So this could not be a 1, 2, 3, but it could just be a wave C. So again, obviously $152, we would have 1 plus 620 times wave C against wave A. Now many times for wave C, resistance, so the end of wave C usually ends around equality with wave A, which was at $123. And as you can see, we did find a little resistance, but then we just broke through it. So we could see additional upside towards $152. At that point, we'll see whether this will turn into a 5-wave move. So how will we know if it, so let's say it does get to 152 and it pullbacks. Does that mean we're in wave 4? Well, it could. How will we know? Well, if you remember what I told you about the 3 main rules of Elliott, we know that, let's go back, the main count, a wave 4 cannot retrace past, cannot go into the territory of wave 1. Territory of wave 1 stands right here at $114. So let's say we do get to 152-ish, pull back. If we were to pull back and break 114, then we will know this count is invalidated, and we could most likely change to the alternate being this one. So that being said, let's look at some high degree fib levels, fib targets. So let's look for additional confluence basically of our counts, and then let's wrap this up. So let's go back to the weekly, and let's start with our preferred count. So a very common guideline for wave 4 is to end near the wave 4 on 1 less degree. So this wave 4, as you can see here, $82, we basically bottom here at 84, 85. So we're very close to the same wave 4. So that's additional confluence. In addition to that, we like to see the correction of the same degree tends towards equality in length. So equality would have been $66, but we did have, as you can see here, we did find support of the 61.8% wave 4 against 2. So here wave 4 is 61.8%, the length of wave 2, and we find support there. So that's another confluence. In addition to that, we like to look at what is called an Elliott channel, which connects 1 and 3, projected 2, and you get your estimate for wave 4. Now, this channel will actually suggest the opposite. It would suggest that we could indeed move back lower, touch the channel, or resume higher, favoring the alternate count. Now, to end everything up, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, there is a possibility that, let's do this, this wave 3 is completed, this wave 4 goes here, and so does wave 3. And we could have wave 4 either completed or in completion. And if we look at some fib levels again, equality of wave 4 of primary 4 and 2 would almost have been met at $80. And again, as I said a few minutes ago, 8 is a strong number, profit taking number and Fibonacci number. Not a coincidence that we found multiple levels of support and resistance around $80. That being said, that is a possibility. Now let's look at target for wave 3, primary degree, so the black one. So 1 plus 618 was at $60. Let's look at some other fib levels. So 2 was at 117 and 2.236 was at 260. So not strong Fibonacci evidence in support of the fact that this wave 3 is already completed. So we could still be in favor of this move. Sorry about that, of this scenario. And let's do the same for intermediate wave 3. Let's look at some levels. Intermediate wave 3 is the red one. So as you can see, 1 plus 618 would have been at $16. So let's take a look at 2 plus 618 also has been surpassed. So again, around 3.236 which again, $117, and we would have 3.618 at 250. So again, not strong, but still we are in between levels. And last but not least, cycle wave 3. We have 1.618 times, so this wave 3 here had 343. So as you can see, as we could be heading towards this cycle wave 3 at some point, so the minimum target would be 343, so it makes sense for ourselves to have additional upside to come. So that being said, I tried to go as quickly as possible. I didn't go into many details of the L-wave theory, so that even for those of you who are not expert, we understand what is going on in terms of technical analysis, as I found many videos about fundamentals and try to evaluate the company using cash flow analysis and all this kind of what I would like to say. Yes, they are technicals, but mainly focus on fundamentals of what the company is doing. So evaluate the value, what you would say it's the value of the company. I wanted to do something different. I wanted to show you the technicals of Amazon and using the L-wave theory, which is one of the most powerful tools in the industry. So again, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think about this analysis. Let me know what you think about what's your outlook for Amazon. And if you enjoy the content, please leave a like. It really helps a lot. And if you don't want to miss out on my next analysis, I recommend you subscribe to the channel to stay updated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.